Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram Sankirtan ki Hare Krishna Mantra ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So we'll just quickly summarize, and I'm planning to finish this chapter today. So far, Sukadeva Goswami is helping Parikshit Maharaj or trying to answer the question that he asked. What is the duty of a man for all the time, especially when he's about to die? We give examples. First he said what should not be done, and then he said what one should do. Then he gave his own example that how he was on the Jnana platform, but after hearing Bhagavatam from his father Vyasdev, he became a devotee. And then Parikshit Maharaj said, I understand the process of bhakti, but do I have time to do it? He said, quality is more important than quantity. So please don't worry for that time. You still have 7 days to go. And then he gave the example of Khatwanga Raj Rishi, that in one muhurt, which is 48 minutes, he perfected his life. Then he says, but you have still 7 days to go. So 7 days is sufficient to perfect your life. After this, the topic, the discussion is shifting. So the intent of discussion that's going on between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj is to communicate the importance of pure, unalloyed devotion. And in order to do that, Sukadeva Goswami is first talking about Ashtanga Yoga. And one may ask, why didn't he start talking about pure bhakti yoga? Why he's talking about Ashtanga Yoga, knowing that Krishna has already told in Bhagavad Gita that this is a very difficult process? The answer was given that in that assembly, there are so many other personalities who are practicing Ashtanga Yoga. And goal of their life is to get liberation. Mukti is goal of their life. So sometimes you would see that there is discussion about other types of process, but those discussions are just to explain the details of it to support bhakti being the superior process. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about Karma Yoga and Niskam type 1, Niskam type 2, and then Gyan Yoga, finally Ashtanga Yoga. And then he concludes that bhakti is the topmost process. So Sukadeva Goswami is taking similar approach, and he's talking about Ashtanga Yoga for the devotees who are there to listen, devotees who have, or the rishis who are there who have still believe that mukti is the goal of life. So the purpose here is to basically go through Ashtanga Yoga, and finally conclude that it's very difficult. It's better the time that you have left, you should focus on Bhakti Yoga. So he starts talking about Ashtanga Yoga from here. He gives the process of Ashtanga Yoga. And as we know that this Ashtanga Yoga process has 8 anga: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So this is what he's talking up to verse number 21st. Very quickly, he summarizes what are these 8 angas of bhakti and what is the objective behind it. Why, what ultimately we get going through these 8 steps. So first he talks about yama, but before he does that, I just wanted to go through this verse 18, 15 to just convey the message that Sukadeva Goswami is talking about Ashtanga Yoga. So he says, Antkale tu Purusha Agate Gata Sadvasah Chindayad Ashanga Sastrena Aspriham Dehe Anuve Chatam. Antkale tu Purusha. When last stage of life comes, Agate Gata Sadvasah. Agate, when the last stage of life has come, Chindayad Asanga, one should try to detach, cut. Chindayad is basically cut off all the attachment that one has, dehe, bodily attachment. Bodily attachment. One should try to detach, get detached from all types of attachment. And then what one should do? Girhat parvarjito dhiraha punya tirtha jalaplutah shuchau viviktah ashino vidhivat kalpa kalpit kalpit ashane. So in this verse number 16, niyama and ashana are given. So girha parvarjito dhira, that gentleman, that dhira, sober person who have self-control, who have completely detached himself from all the bodily connection, should kirhat parvarjito, should leave home and go to a secluded place, which is prescription given for Ashtanga Yoga. And in a shucha, in a clean place after jalapalatuhu, jalapalatuhu, taking shower, taking bath, ashino, one should sit. And then vidhivat kalpit ashane, very in a methodical way. Following the methodical way means following the instructions of Varnashram, not Varnashram, but Ashtanga Yoga, Yama and Niyama. One should practice it. One should try to practice the Yama, Niyama, Asana, and the other limbs of the Ashtanga Yoga. So from here, you can see, I just wanted to give the glimpse. Sukadeva Goswami is talking about now Ashtanga Yoga. So up to verse number 19, he summarized these 8 angas. That's why this is a nice place to quickly understand what is this yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So yama is what one should not do. Means Ashtanga Yoga should not be practiced among family members, should not be practiced in a community at your household. Like bhakti, we can practice, but Ashtanga yoga you cannot, because for Ashtanga yoga you have to artificially try to control your mind, and to control your mind you have to minimize the distraction of distraction of dealing with situations. Like if you, I'm not sure if you are exposed to this or not, but if you hear from other uh, sampradaya, such as people who are follower of Lord Buddha's teaching, they don't consider the process that we follow is a very bona fide process. Why? Because we are dealing with day to day situations. This is not done right. That's not done. People, personality, projects, and all of that. Is distracting. You cannot focus on chanting. This person is like that. That person is like that. Somebody is saying so much nonsense around. And if you are a serious sadhaka, you'll get caught into all of this. Do you want to get caught into this, or you say that done? I don't have to do with all of this thing. Let me. My goal is to become, devotee of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and why I have to deal with it? I don't want to deal with it. So just the example that likewise, uh, pure bhakti cannot be practiced with distraction. And when we are in a contaminated state, these distractions does affect us. I'm right, you are wrong. I have always been right. What I do is the perfect, you are wrong. This type of mentality, it's nothing but just contamination. Nothing, it's just merely contamination. So serious sadhaka will not get into trap all of these things. Just noise, keep it aside. Have nothing to do with it. So that's what it's saying here. That leave, go to secluded place, completely detach from all the designations and the members of your society and family, and then niyama, then start doing what is prescribed rules, which means at that stage, um, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, Krishna says that you go to a secluded place, find a shuchau, clean place, then put the kusa grass, take shower, and then sit on the kusa grass, and then start, practicing the right posture. Before you start practicing the breathing exercise, do the right bodily posture. So niyama is basically what to be done, and then bodily exercise, perfect asana. Why? Because the purpose of asana is to control mind. Artificially, we are controlling the mind. So air has to move in a particular way to control the mind. And that's what, pranayam does. Pranayam helps control the breathing. And by controlling the breathing, what we are trying to do is that concentrate. We are increasing our focus. And increasing focus means trying to control mind. So the purpose of pranayam is to control mind. By pranayam, we try to control our mind. Many devotees, before they chant also, I have seen, I have heard that they do some pranayam, make sure that, they are focused before they can start chanting the name of Krishna. And then mind control, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, that first you control intelligence, buddhi, then you control mana, then you can control senses. Because buddhi controls mind, intelligence control mind, and mind will control senses. So unless and until mind is not controlled, senses cannot be controlled. So the purpose of pranayam and tihar, purpose of pranayam is to control mind. And in pratyahara, one is controlling their senses, sense of enjoying the food, sense of looking at unwanted stuff, senses of Vachivega, Manasa, Krodhavega, all of those are unnecessarily talk, unnecessarily criticism, unnecessarily, getting into something which is not limb of bhakti. All of that is coming under pratyahara. The person is fully focused, the mind is controlled, senses are being controlled. If that stage is achieved, then one starts practicing dharana. And dharana has dharana asraya, where one has to meditate on. So now mind is controlled, sense is controlled. So in the dharana stage, one is taking the dharana ashraya. And this has been described in Bhagavatam that dharana ashraya in the beginning stage is Virat Roop, imaginary form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, starting from his toes all the way up. So once mind and senses are controlled, then the practitioner is meditating at the dharana ashraya, imaginary form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. But at dharana ashraya or dharana stage, there is still some contamination. He is still not fully focused. His practice is not fully focused. He still gets distracted. But dharana ashraya stage is the stage where he's practicing it. And at dhyana stage, now his focus has become very pointed. Now he can, get free from distraction, and he can pinpoint at the feet, at the thighs, at the arms, at the chest, at the neck, at the face of Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Virat Roop form. And this material creation, this material universe is represented as Virat Rupa. So once practitioner is qualified to focus on dharana ashraya in the beginning stage, then slowly when it focus becomes very, very concentrated, then he start meditating on Paramatma. And that is Samadhi. Now he is completely pure, no distraction, mind senses are controlled, and he can completely focus because he has practiced through Virat Roop. He is in a very advanced stage. And at that stage, when one leaves body, then it's Brahm Nirvan, Brahmud Prasanatmana Suchati Nakanchati, Sama Sarvesu Bhutesu, Mad Bhakti Labhate Param. He is now going to merge. So this is definitely a path. Sukadeva Goswami is not saying that this is not a path, but he says that this path is very, very difficult. Krishna talks about this in Bhagavad Gita. He says Yoga Aruruksha and Yoga Arudha. Yoga Aruksha is the beginning stage, and Yoga Arudha is the higher stage. So these verses are basically talking the same thing that we just talked up to verse number 19. Krishna has explained that what is the process of uh, Ashtanga Yoga. Then in verse number 20, 21, these two verses, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, what, how we can do it? People are in guna. We are affected by material guna. There is passion, there is ignorance, there is goodness. So these are working with us. So how can we control the mind and senses? So mind control is coming in pranayama, and senses control is coming under pratyahara. So because I'm showing that at this stage, we are very, very affected by tamoguni, rajoguni, satoguni. It's very difficult how we can come to the stage of dharana. So in verse number 22, he asks follow-up questions. He says, Raja Uvacha. Prakrit Maharaj is asking, Yatha Shandhrayate Brahman Dharna Yatra Sammatah Yadrishi Cha Haredashu Purushasya Manomalam. He says, Dear Sukadeva Goswami, I understood what you just said me about yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. But we are materially contaminated. And at the stage of dharana, one is meditating on dharana ashraya. You'll have to study Bhagavatam very carefully to understand this word dharana ashraya. So he says, can you please help me understand? Yatha sha andharayate brahman. The person who is aspiring for mukti, how adharyate, how do they do this dharana? How they come to that stage where they can focus and meditate at the limbs of Virat Rupa. And then dharana yatra sammata. And what is their object at the dharana stage? What they are trying to focus on. So in my description, I went ahead and told you that dharana asara is basically focusing on the Virat Rupa form. But real question by Sukadeva Goswami, by Prakshit Maharaj is asked here to Sukadeva Goswami. That can you please tell me first how to accomplish dharana stage and what is the object of dharana ashraya? And then he says, Yadrishi Vahared Ashav Purushasya Manomalam. Malam is contamination. Malam. Manomalam, the contaminations of mind. So how one can uh, remove the contamination of mind and come to this stage? So this is the another three questions that Prakshit Maharaj is asking. And I answer that while I was going through this chart. He says that dharana is very difficult if one's senses are not controlled. So perfection, so there is another very important thing to understand and difficulty that is associated with Ashtanga Yoga. This is a sequential process. This is a sequential process. So if you have not perfected your pranayama, then your pratyahara is not going to be perfect. And if pratyahara is not perfect, then your dharana is not going to be perfected. So it's not like that you are doing all of this simultaneously. Okay. But that is not true with bhakti. In bhakti process, we still have contamination. We still have, the dhanamna, janamna, sundarim, kavita, vajagadis, kame, me, mine, all sort of, stuff going on around. But still we are proceeding, we are progressing with all of these contaminations. We are still progressing towards Krishna. The bhakti is still awakening in our heart, slowly and slowly, maybe somewhere very quickly, somewhere very slowly, depending on how one is practicing. But it's going up, it's moving up. But in Ashtanga Yoga, it's not possible. So when Parikshit Maharaj asked how to remove this mano amalam, this contamination, he says that the contamination will be removed when you have full sense control. Okay, so going back to this verse again to summarize, what is the method by which contamination is removed? It's its sense control. And when senses are fully controlled, then your dharana is accomplished. So that's the purpose of dharana, which means before senses are controlled, mind and intelligence have to be controlled, as we study from Bhagavad Gita, which is not mentioned here, but I just wanted to emphasize. So mind has to be controlled, senses have to be controlled. Once mind and senses are fully controlled, then your dharana stage is accomplished. And once dharana is accomplished, then you are ready to focus, on Virat Rupa. Or while you are in the stage of perfecting your senses, you have to slowly start meditating upon dharana ashraya. Okay, so these steps that we just went through are very sequential, and that's what Sukadeva Goswami is saying, that you must purify your senses before you can come to the stage of dharana ashraya, dharana. And what is the object of meditation during dharana ashraya? Virat Rupa. So remaining verses you can read by yourself up to 39. Dharana ashraya, is mentioned. So this material universe is Virat Rupa, and then his arms are demigods, ears are Digdevatas, organs of hearings are sounds, his eye pits are outer space, eyeballs are sun, eyelids are day and night, like that, breast is religion, back is irreligion, all of that. Hair on head is cloud, trees are his hairs, all of that is being, mentioned. Nails are horse, mule, camel, and elephant. So this entire material creation is mentioned here because the object of Dharna Ashray is Virat. Uh, but after all of this, what do they get? That is important. And let me pull another slide to talk about it.
So, Prabhuji, it's basically like Krishna described in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Similar. So,
Prabhuji,
yeah.
I missed the context. I think in the beginning you were telling why Ashtanga Yoga was talking to other rishis.
Yeah, because the audience had many rishis who were practicing Ashtanga Yoga.
Mhm.
So Parikshit Maharaj is going to be told to practice Bhakti Yoga. And then audience who are there, they would say that I have been practicing Mukti, and I thought that Mukti is the ultimate goal of life, right? So to pacify them, Sukadeva Goswami talks about the process of Ashtanga Yoga before he talks about, Bhakti Yoga. Like for example, if you go to a store and a store has good gold, gold items, and then it has items that has gold plate, item that is of impure quality. So to say or to justify, see how the pure looks, so shiny, so beautiful, so good. Look at the impure one, how it looks. So you have to create contrast, right?
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
So that's what the purpose of talking Ashtanga Yoga is, not to say that Ashtanga Yoga is the best. And I gave the example that Krishna also talks in Bhagavad Gita about Karma Kandi, Karma Yogi, Niskam Karma Yoga type 1, Niskam Karma Yoga type 2. Once one is practicing Niskam Karma Yoga type 2, then he's qualified to be Jnana Yogi, then he can practice Dhyana Yoga. But ultimately, Krishna says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyajiva namaskuru. You know, Yogi namapi sarvesham. All of that he says. He says that I said all of that. But Sadharman Pariteja Mamekam Sarnaparja Ham Saratar Papa Moksha Sai Masu, those type of teachings, right? So
Mm.
Guni Bhuta Bhakti, Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti is given, but emphasis is on pure bhakti. So
Yes, Prabhu.
that's the context of it. So it's not like that Ashtanga Yoga is recommended. It's and that's what Sukadeva Goswami is explaining. That when Parikshit Maharaj asked, well, how to accomplish dharana, how to control the impurity, manoamalam, the the impurity of the minded, and what is the object of dharana ashray. So don't think that it's easy to meditate upon dharana ashray. Very, very difficult. Prabhupada has given series of purport. Please read it. So ultimately what it does is that depending on how intensely this Ashtanga Yoga is practiced, it gives one of this mukti. Sayuja Mukti, Salokya Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Samipya Mukti, Sarsishti Mukti. And Acharyas have very
Actually, one more
clearly,
question before
yeah,
we move forward. So, the in each of these steps, like in Ashtanga Yoga, we are doing niyama, yama,
yeah,
niyama, and all these.
uh-huh,
So we have, for each one of those stages, we have certain result. Like, for
yes,
example, if we are in dhyana, we are fixing our mind, and or dharana or dhyana. So basically, we are attaining the similar results in, the result wise, if you think, in Bhakti Yoga also, we are attaining those, right?
yep.
On the name of the Lord, we are focusing on the name of the Lord. And our senses also get controlled. Our mind also get controlled.
That's a very good point. Very good point. Yes, yes, very good point. In fact, so what is your question first before I
No,
start
no,
talking?
no. I
Yes,
do not have
yes,
a question, but just I was thinking about this and
yes, yes.
okay.
So same anga can be practiced in bhakti also. That's very good point. And in third canto, Kapil Dev is talking to Mother Devavati, and he is going through this different anga. And Prabhupada in each purport is requesting the reader that how this can be practiced in pure bhakti. So in pure devotional service also, we have to come to this stage of samadhi. Anya vilasita sunyam gyan karmadya navrita manukulenu krishnanu silanam bhakti uttamam. We have to come to samadhi. While we are chanting name of Krishna, we are doing dhyana completely, so that, hear each and every syllable of Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, we say that. So that's what it's all. In dharana stage, we are basically meditating at the feet of the form of Radha Shyam Sundar, the deity that we have at our house. Okay. So sense control we do practice. Okay. Breathing has to be practiced also. We don't focus too much on the ashna, but that's also, you know, is for uh, one to make sure that, Shuchi Shaucham, we do like, for example, chanting I can do many places, but the real chanting happens when I'm at my house, in my DT room. in front of my deity. Oh my gosh, I don't want to chant anywhere else, but I have sometimes I do. But getting, because that's what I've been doing every morning, getting up, getting into my deity room. There is nothing, me and my wife. I can very easily focus on chanting. That's the best place of chanting for me, my deity room. Even in Dallas, the room that I was chanting, that was my best place because I could just see deity in front of me and distraction, Guru Tattva, Panch Tattva, everybody is there, focus. So yes, we do need similar surrounding for bhakti also. And Kapil Dev has explained very clearly to Mother Devahuti that these limbs can, for a devotee can apply these limbs in devotional service. But the major difference is that the object,
Mm.
the dharna ashray is different. We are not meditating on Virat Roop, which is imaginary form of Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are meditating on the real Sham Sundar form, Radha Sham Sundar form. So we do meditate. Even in chanting, in the beginning, the prescription is given that first all you should do is that try to hear the syllable. And once you are hearing it without any distraction, if you are able to do it, then you should change your meditation while you are chanting to the past times. you know but that is again in the chanting also very higher stage. So some of these angas are equally important for bhakti also, but
So,
the goals are different, and this is a sequential process for dhyana yoga or ashtanga yoga. This is sequential process. If step 5 is not fully achieved or perfected, step 6 would not work out. But in
mm.
bhakti, it's not like that. Sometimes, we are distracted, still we get to God 16 round. We chant name of Krishna as long as 16 rounds are done. So there are some parallel line. And yes,
What
what
is
is
the Prabhuji in Bhakti? So we have that shloka, right? Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Bhavet
Bhagavad Yeah.
Nayamendriyehi Sevonmukhehi Jivhado.
Swamasmriti Adha. Yes.
Yeah, Spuratedya. So are we meditating on the pastimes, or we actually are being revealed those pastimes?
No, so in the beginning, you cannot meditate. If you are meditating, then that would be also one of the distraction.
Yeah,
So in
exactly.
for the chanting, you have to hear each and every syllable.
The holy name,
Yeah.
the
So
thing
people
is
say I'm
that.
chanting, but the chanting is, Nama Aparad chanting, Nama Bhash chanting, and Shuddh chanting. Have you heard this word?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So, so Shuddh chanting is basically the stage where one is, free from all distraction and can focus on the, name of Radha, Krishna. So the point that I'm trying to make is, well, I lost line of thought. What I was trying to make the point. My mind is going so many places. Yes. So you don't artificially try to meditate upon the past time. Rather, all you have to do is that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Some distinction between the names like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare. That's the Hare Krishna, Hare. So Prabhupada, in the morning you see when we chant, Prabhupada, how each and every syllable is pronouncing very clearly. So likewise, it's 2 hours process. At least it's 1 hour 45 minutes. If it's done in 1 hour, that means we are going very fast. So syllable has to be heard. And if we are doing that, that means we are creating some focus, generating some focus, the holy name. And then slowly and slowly, once that becomes our practice, then Hare Krishna, when you say Krishna's for name for quality and pastimes, will come with that name. But that is a very, very advanced stage. But we should not artificially try to imitate.
That
Rather,
becomes
in the
more like a speculation only.
yeah, in the beginning stage, I remember, there was one Prabhupada disciple giving class at my house in Dallas. We had so many devotees, and one devotee said, you know, that she was still new. She said that, oh, I think I don't have to chant. I always consider Krishna as my baby boy, and every time I am meditating on his uh, pastimes. He said, no, 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 it's good that you are meditating. It's very nice. But let that meditation come through chanting. Then there will be real meditation. So yes, this anga can be used for devotees also. Prabhupada has said that many times. So what you are seeing on the screen, are you seeing these 5 types of liberation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So ultimately, one will get one of this liberation, and Shayujya Mukti is the lowest type of liberation where one merge into Brahman. But any other types of mukti that one achieve. So if you remember the term that we always talk, and I have been talking, Guni Bhuta Bhakti, Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, and Kaivalya Bhakti. Okay. So goal is to come to the stage of Kaivalya Bhakti. Okay. But Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. So what happening? Anybody knows what are these 3 terms? Can somebody explain what is Guni Bhuta Bhakti?
Uni Bhuta is like, I think Pradhani Bhuta is a mixed one, and Kaivalya is the pure bhakti, and Guni Bhuta, I believe,
Both Guni and Pradhani is
are mixed
mixed.
bhakti.
Yes. So in Guni Bhuta Bhakti, the gunas are prominent. So there is a primary quality and secondary quality. So primary is that one is performing Ashtanga Yoga, Niskam Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga prominently. But in order for one to perform Niskam Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, they have to do some bhakti, like meditating dharana, meditating at the feet of uh, Virat Rupa. Who is that Rupa? Vishnu, right?
Yes.
So that's bhakti. But bhakti is not primary goal. Secondary goal is bhakti. Primary goal is that you think that uh, I'm doing some degree of Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. So this is guna. So when Guni Bhuta Bhakti is perfected, completely perfected, which is Dhyana Yoga, one can get Sayujya Mukti. So Guni Bhuta Bhakti can lead one to Sayujya Mukti. But all other 4, one has to be in a Pradhana Bhuta stage. And Pradhana Bhuta stage is basically where Bhakti is dominant. But there is some guna, some contamination. So most of us right now are falling into that category, in Pradhana Bhuta category. Our main goal is to perform bhakti. Anything that we do, we do because we think that we are practicing bhakti. But in doing that, there is still some contamination. Okay. So if our bhakti is not fully perfected, then you may, like, for example, you would see, not to criticize anybody, okay? You would see, and just to make this point very clear, that in our society today, ISKCON is trying to welcome everybody. We welcome everybody. It doesn't matter from where they come, what background they bring, what type of practice they have. We all try to help with one promise, that with practice this person will come to the stage of Kaivalya Bhakti. Doesn't matter where you start, wherever you are starting. The goal is that with proper association, proper guidance, at some point you will come to the stage of Kaivalya Bhakti. That is the promise. Everything else is being done to bring one to the stage of Kaivalya Bhakti, but not necessarily one will come to that stage. So I have seen people still give more weight to Vishnu. They still think that they are worshipper of Lord Vishnu than Krishna. Nothing against that. But that is not the teaching of Brahmada Gauriya Sampradaya. The process are bona fide, but for you to be bona fide, you have to practice a certain process, right? So, so there will be some, mixture. People would be doing bhakti, but still they will be going down to so many other places, so many other things they would be doing, thinking that it's all I'm doing very good. They're all definition of bhakti, but that's not what teaching is. It's not. You have to follow a particular teaching as it is given. That's what Prabhupada said. Bhagavad Gita as it is. What does it mean? You have to, adhere to a particular teaching. Then you are following that path. Okay, so you would see that the bhakti is being followed, but there is a lot of other distraction. Then they will fall into one of these. If they have really done the bhakti prominently. If it's not, then maybe none of these. These are very higher stage, by the way, also. So don't underestimate it. They're very higher stage. Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Sarsisti, one of these, they will get. But ultimate goal is to perform Kaivalya Bhakti. So by putting this slide, by sharing this slide, we are trying to communicate that what is our target, how high we are target. And if you are targeting so high, then how you have to act. So this beautiful verse say comes after going through these 5 types of mukti. It says mukti swayam muklita anjila sevate ashman dharma artha kama gataya shamaya pratiksha. This verse says that all of these liberations, all of these types of liberations, swayam, these liberations as a personification, as a person, they have, Anjali, their hands are closed with the flower and they are meditating to bhakti. That mukti, I'm the mukti, but how I will be liberated? Mukti Swayam Muklita Anjala. The mukti himself is saying how I will be liberated to Srimati Bhakti Devi or Bhakti Devi. So Bilmangala Thakur says that all of these muktis are great, but ultimate goal is bhakti. So forget about this dharma, artha, kama, and all that stuff. See, the word comes. So the translation is that the mukti herself or himself is praying for liberation to bhakti. Then what to talk about engagement in dharma, artha, kama, and moksha? So that's the bhakti, Kaivalya bhakti, is what we are aspiring for. And that's the point here Sukadeva Goswami is making to Parikshit Maharaj, that understand, not saying that this, there is no value of, these are great, but ultimately our goal is to be Kaivalya Bhakti. And why Acharyas does not recommend Mukti? Because in Mukti or with the objective of Mukti, still there is some degree of selfishness. The consciousness is not fully to serve Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is the object of the mukti? If I do this, if I perform all of these angas very carefully, very successfully, then I will be liberated. It's all I. It's all I. There is some degree of selfishness. But pure bhakti is anukulenu krishnanu. Selna bhakti. Whatever is favorable to Krishna, that is Uttam Bhakti. And I have
That is the center there.
and 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll conclude. So how to understand that? The pastime is Krishna has headache, and he said that his headache will be cured if he gets the dust from the feet of his devotee. And Narad Muni was asked, he said, no, 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 no. How is possible? My dust at the feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the rishis, who are worshipping Krishna in Aishwarya Bhav, they said, how it's possible? We cannot do that. The same message was sent to Gopi, and Gopi started rubbing their feet. Oh, all the dust that I have in my feet, please take it. If this dust will cure the headache of Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am ready to go to hell birth after birth after birth after birth. I'm ready to go to hell. If this pleases Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudev Datta in Chaitanya Charitamrita says that all these living entities are extremely suffering, my dear Lord. Is it possible that I take all the suffering and stay in the hell life after life after life after life and let all of them go back to home, back to Krishna? So that we are talking about. That type of bhakti we are talking about. But again, we should have the vision also. If you are not practicing the right bhakti, you cannot appreciate the right bhakti that you would see around, because like draws the like. But the goal is that you should practice, aspire all the time in every situation. Jena tena prakarena. Am I getting distracted? Maya is very strong. She always works on our weakest spot. So all of that teaching is presented here. Through this, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, no, that I understand Maya is very important, Parikshit Maharaj, but you have only 7 days left, and let's focus on bhakti. And Parikshit Maharaj knew, Parikshit, later in 6th canto it comes. When Sukadeva Goswami will ask that, okay, so I have given you all this background, which one you wanna really focus the most? Parikshit Maharaj says that, my dear Sukadeva Goswami, I would like to hear only about bhakti. Can you please just from now onward, whatever time I have left, can you just teach me about the process of devotional service? So that's how it is. And I conclude with chapter 1. You all can just go and read the translation. And there are details, but those details I think more or less we have studied in Bhagavad Gita also. So from
Prabhu,
next,
you
yeah.
have you showed the different muktis, and you put Bali Maharaj at the end.
Yeah.
One of the pictures. So what's the connection there?
So Bali Maharaj got, let me show the picture here to explain. Are you seeing this screen, the same screen?
Yes, yes. Prabhu.
Okay. So there are mukti. So Shayuja Mukti is merging into the Brahman effulgence, which means there is light coming
Oh,
out of Golok Vrindavan.
When I
And
originally saw this picture, Prabhu, I was thinking, why is this picture here? I was only looking at Krishna, and then I
no, I put
read
the
the
picture
detail
just to
for the
explain the.
effulgence. Yeah.
I had to work on this to make the point clear. I had to pull the picture from different places to explain. So Sayuja Mukti is merging into the Brahman effulgence. So you lost your individuality and you become one of the fragment of this light for eternity, for a long time, very long time. But this is achieved by Brahman realization. Brahmamiti, Puramiti, Bhagavaniti, Sabdati. But higher than Brahman realization, when we are realizing some form of Lord as a person, especially in Aishwarya Bhav, then Shalokya Mukti is, Loka means the place where Lord resides, such as, Vaikuntha. And there we get a form, like can you see in the picture, there are so many personalities in residing in the Vaikuntha. So you stay in the, you get personal form, but you are not engaged in devotional service. You are in the Vaikuntha planet. And Sarupya Mukti you get four-arm form, like you can see these persons here in the picture in the back. They are serving Lord Vishnu, Mahalakshmi and Vishnu. This is also very high, achievement, very, very high goal. They get into this form where you have four-arm and you are engaged in service of uh, Lord Vishnu. It's very, very high goal. And Shamipya Mukti is one becomes associates with personality of Godhead. An example can be given, associates like
Arjun.
Pandavas and other personalities, Bhishma. They are personally, witnessing, and they are playing a role in the pastime of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, that's also very higher stage. And Shar Srishti Mukti is the Mukti where one gets a separate abode, and that abode is like Vaikuntha, and then you are the king of that abode. So Bali Maharaj uh, was given Shar Srishti Mukti. He was given a Sutala planet, and although it's Hellish planet, but in that planet everything is like Vaikuntha, very, very opulent planet, and Lord himself is doorkeeper. Another example is given Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj has his own Dhruv abode, very opulent. It's considered embassy of the Vaikuntha in the material planet. And there, it doesn't get distracted. It's beyond the zone of destruction. And then there is, being served. So all of these are, so Bali Maharaj picture is given there just to explain the example of Sar Srishti Mukti. But then our acharyas and our teaching, and most of the acharyas, prominent acharyas have said that ultimately bhakti is the topmost. So there are a school of thought who thinks that one of these mukti is ultimate goal, and they are not wrong about it, by the way. These are definitely very, very high goal, but ultimate goal is to be the unalloyed devotee. So those pictures were
Thank you, Prabhu.
just to
Thank you, Prabhu. Regarding the exam, Prabhu, what time we need to take it? The same time or different times?
exam.
Yeah, next Sunday we are
Exam is going
planning.
to, or next Sunday you're planning to give the exam. I don't know about it, but exam will be at the same time.
Mhm.
Exam will be at the same time.
And how long will it be, Prabhu?
I
Because
think I didn't know, otherwise I would have summarized the format of the exam. I think next class will have to do that instead of I need to answer. I'll give you the slide. So it's going to be you'll have three types of questions, not objective question for this one. The first one is write verse with translation, and then there will be short answer question, and then there will be long answer question. So that is part of the exam. And then
Prabhu,
for
regarding
each,
verses concerned, do we have any choice?
I have sent the list of verses PDF.
No, we have a choice, maybe
Yeah, like options.
options. Yeah.
Yes. So there will be one extra verse. So out of 3 verses, you have to do 2 verses. And
Mhm.
then some of the short answer question also might be related to one of the verse. And then long type questions should be basically explain the process of Ashtanga Yoga, and question asked by Parikshit Maharaj. What Parikshit Maharaj is asking about Ashtanga Yoga. What did Parikshit Maharaj ask about Ashtanga Yoga? Then, you have to say, yes, this is questions, X, Y, Z, like that. And that is your exam. And then also there are series of essay questions. for each module. So you have to, there is no exam for it, but you have to just write the answer and submit as a homework.
We did, Prabhu. I did, and Ashok Prabhu last time
Yeah,
mentioned that
I received 2 answers. So
Okay.
those are the things we have to do. And exam time is 90 minutes, 1 hour 30 minutes for this. Since we are not doing objective, we are not doing essay writing. So there'll be 1.5 hour exam,
You
and
should.
it's mostly writings.
So we'll be starting at the same time or little early?
I think we should start at the same time, 7:15 if we start. Then we go to 8:45. That'll be a good time because we have to go for Sunday school, Sunday feast also.
Yes.
7:15 we can start, by 8:45 we'll be done. I'll have to work on questions also because this is first batch for me also. And yeah, that's how it's going to be.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have more questions on the 5 types of liberation one.
Yeah.
So in that, like Samipya Mukti, it said that becoming associated with the Supreme Lord. Like examples are given Pandavas. Pandavas are pure bhaktas, right? But then we
Yeah.
are saying this type of mukti is lower than bhakti. They are bhaktas. So I just confused.
So not all of them were pure bhaktas, but they have close association of Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, there are other personality who are bhaktas, by the way, to be closer to Krishna. Bhakti has to be prominent, but doesn't mean that the bhakti is Kaivalya Bhakti. So that's why when I gave the example, closeness like Pandavas, or being closer to Supreme Personality of Godhead, like Bhishma and other personalities. But Pandava especially is those were pure bhakta. And how to understand that? When higher goal is achieved, all other inferior goals are achieved. So as a pure bhakta, as a pure devotee, you have experience of all of the other types of uh, liberation, or all other types of goal. And how to understand that? Satchit Anand. Ultimately, soul, and listen it carefully to understand. I'll try to explain it. Soul has soul has uh, ultimately soul has to experience these 3 features: Satta, Chitta, Ananda. Sat is eternity, Chit is full of knowledge, and Anand is bliss. So Sat feature is awakened to the soul when they are merging into Brahman. And Chit feature is awakened when they are merging to Paramatma. And both, all 3, Sat, Chit, Ananda, all these 3 features are fully awakened when soul is practicing pure devotional service. So when you say Satchit Ananda, superset has all other subset. Okay. So pure devotee has Paramatma realization and has also Brahman realization. So that's how you have to understand. So Krishna, if you just focus on Pandavas being a pure devotee, they have achieved the result of Sat feature and Chit feature. Follow-up question. So we
Okay.
so we are not so purpose here again. This is just to give the example. Purpose here is to not say that they are not the devotee, or purpose here is also to say that through devotional service, all other goals are achieved. By bhakti process, if you are performing the devotional service, all other goals that can be achieved by any other process is achieved. That is another beauty of bhakti. And that is why Sukdev Goswami is emphasizing bhakti, because he's saying that it will take you somewhere, but that's all. It will take you somewhere, but that's all. But if you do this, it will also take you somewhere, but not is that's all. But by doing that, all other things will be done. It's all inclusive.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
that so that's how we see bhakti process. Prabhupada said that Bhagwan realization, a person who has realized Bhagwan, he has realized the eternity feature of Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is Brahman feature, and he has realized the Paramatma feature, Chit feature of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then he has also realized the Ananda, all blissful feature of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Satchit Anand feature, Bhagwan realization encapsulates. It's not like that if you are uh, uh,
Yeah, Prabhuji,
Paramatma realize.
I understand that part. I was thinking Arjuna to have realized Bhagavan feature.
He's the Bhagwan feature. He is that's what the point I'm trying to make. That at the same time he is also very close. So Samipya Mukti means he has
Oh,
that
I see.
closeness.
That's why you're putting it there. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
You're
So
saying,
he
okay, they
has
have realized everything. Basically, they go everywhere in the.
yes. So that's the point I'm trying to make. That Paramatma Wadi has realization of Brahman Wadi, but he does not have realization of Bhagwan Wadi.
Yeah, so
And
when,
Brahman,
say for
yeah,
example, if we have a sixth type saying here Bhakti, then you can also put the same picture there because he,
yeah. So
okay,
I know, like for example, gopis,
yes, yes,
gopis have realized all of this,
yes,
right?
yes,
But normally, when Samipya world is coming, they, you would hear, devotee cites the example of Hanumanji being so close to Ram, but Hanumanji is pure devotee.
yes.
But through pure devotion, he has achieved that Samipya part also.
Okay, got it, Prabhu. Got it.
That's how you see.
Yes, yes,
But you don't achieve Samipya by Brahman realization. If
yes,
your goal is Brahman realization, you cannot get there. So that's why we say that Sayujya Mukti is the lowest of the realization out of all, because that is limited up to Brahman only. But Paramatma realized is Brahman realized also. But Bhagwan realized is Paramatma and Bhagwan realized. So a person who is Bhagwan realized has realized all those features. What does it mean? Means he is achieving the results of all other
yes,
process.
yeah,
So once you go back to Krishna, in fact, all of that is there.
yes,
Are you you are in the loka of Supreme Personality of Godhead? Are you not? You are. You have the Jiva Sarupa Nitya Krishna Das. You have your eternal effulgent Sarupa. Have you? Are you going to get it or not? You get it.
yeah, yes.
Samipya, yeah, you
Everything
are
is included
directly
in
going
that.
to engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So close, right? You'll be
Yes,
doing arti and chanting. And Sar Srishti, opulence, yes. Once you are in the Golok Vrindavan, you are cultivating, they say that the servant has the same degree of opulence as the king, because king is always, engaging the servant in their service, right?
yes, yes,
So,
absolutely, yeah.
so that's how it is. All of that is ek shad hai, sab shad hai, sab shad hai, sab jai. And that's how they say in Hindi. There is poem written by one of the poet. So bhakti is such a higher goal that all other goals, say that the water that is in the pot and the water that is in the ocean, the water that you have in the ocean is sufficient to fulfill all the, or fill all the pots and holes that anywhere else is. Plus, still there is sufficient water. Still there will be water left over. So bhakti is like that. It's such a ambudhau, such a big ocean of bliss that all other bliss are. It's not like that once you become devotee, then you miss the bliss of Paramatmanandi. No. Premanandi has achieved the bliss of all other blisses, all other processes. That's why bhakti is superior process, because it doesn't miss anything. It encapsulates everything. It's all inclusive.
It's very
Good discussion.
surprising that that why mukti, any of these muktis will be one of the goals, If if we look at the definition of bhakti, why would anyone have a goal of mukti?
I mean,
surprising.
bhakti is also at some point, again, this might take some time. So there are some overlap in understanding that one has to go through. So ultimately, the goal of pure devotional service is also that you become free from the cycle of birth and death, right? So ultimately, you get your swarupa, which is not affected by guna, but you get that without asking for it. If you don't, the intent is that if you don't ask for it, you get even bigger than that. That's what the point is. Because that's what, as I said, as we just went through that, once you go back to Krishna, you are in fact harvesting all of the other fruits.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no sixth type of mukti. So what you're saying is that, okay, even with bhakti, which is the highest stage from all these muktis, you have already achieved that. Like you gave the examples of all Pandavas and all that they were all devotees, so they had, obviously they did not have that goal in their mind that they're going to achieve mukti and all that. So I think it's the difference between the thought process of what you're trying to gain. It's, I mean,
Exactly.
if your main aim is to get, like Hanuman's not, he never wanted mukti, right?
Yes.
He wanted to
Yes.
be a bhakta, but he achieved all of those, what you're
Exactly.
explaining, right? Yeah, so
Exactly.
that
That's
it's
the
a
point. That's
mindset.
the
Yeah,
point.
yeah. Okay,
That's
thank
the
you.
point. In fact, in 5th canto, we will study, in this discussion comes.
Yeah.
Rishabdeva
Okay.
Goswami, Rishabdeva Maharaj tells to his son, Mukti hitva sarupena vyavastita. So that definition has different meaning. At
Yes.
different stage, the same statement, you can have different meaning.
Oh.
So at the bhakti stage also this meaning applies, but this is the highest most meaning of the same statement. Okay, so that's how it is. How high you wanna go? Bhakti is the highest most. Once you go highest most, anything that is below you can see. That's the simple way to understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Hare
Vansh
Krishna.
kalpatarubhesha kripa sindhu bhayavasya patitanam
Yeah.
pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo.